The Gestalt School of Learning.
Guten Tag, I'm Hans Wertheimer.
And I am Phil.
Welcome to the Gestalt School of Learning.
The Gestalt School of Learning is based on how we as animals take individual parts of objects, situations and problems and use prior knowledge and insight to see them as a whole. This is very difficult to understand, so we have made video for your help.
Where we see all these component parts is categorized into the Gestalt laws of perception. Here we have a countdown of the top 5.
Are you ready?
At number 5, it's the law of pregnance, or the law of good figure for you English. This is best explained like many of these laws by looking at some examples. The law refers to the way that we as animals see things in simplest form. Instead of seeing the figure here as a series of complex shapes, we see it as 5 simple circles. Like here, we do not see this complex figure as like an ice cream cone with a couple of shapes on top. We see the figure like this in our heads. Unless you are 7 PhD student or something, then maybe you see the ice cream cone.
In at number 4, the principle of figure ground. This principle is where the two figures overlapping, the larger of the two is perceived as the background. However, when looking here, we can change between seeing two people looking at each other and a beautiful vase. My dear Mutter would have liked this vase. Anyway, it is not possible for us to see the vase and the faces at the same time. Here are some real-life examples of the law. The famous Mark sign looks like a smiling face for both in profile and looking straight ahead. And the other one looks like two cats or something.
In at number 3, the law of closure. This example is the tendency to close simple figures, therefore filling in missing parts to make a whole. If you look at this example here, I bet you see a triangle, don't you? And this finger is pretty cool too. Even though you're only looking at triangular shapes, you see a big spiky sphere, like a big spiky planet or something. A real life example of this is the EBM logo. You are just looking at straight horizontal lines, however your brain sees the letters E, B, M.
In at number 2, the law of similarity. This principle is that objects are seen to belong together due to their similar shape, size and color. For example, we see these circles as alternate lines on the page due to the contrasting colors. And we see the circles and triangles in a similar fashion due to their different shapes. It is very hard to see these images in vertical lines. Give it a try. A real-life example of this in computer interfacing, like on this iPhone screen. The apps all have similar shapes and therefore are grouped together in one's mind.
And now, the moment you have all been waiting for. At number 1, the law of proximity. This is the principle that objects which are closer to each other will be seen as belonging together. This is perfectly demonstrated by the little dots. You see the large group of dots to the left as one group, but when they are split into pairs of lines, your mind will see them as 3 groups. The most common use of this law in your everyday life will be in the computer keyboard. In fact, many of these laws are used for human-computer interfacing. Your mind will group together the keys which are at closer proximity. For example, splitting the letters here from the numbers here.
We hope this has been informative. Maybe now you will have a new perception on life.
Good one, Hans. Now for the applications of this theory to education. We go back to Jordyland with Andrew and Sean.
As you say in Newcastle, Ni Baba.